Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to Moscow, and welcome to a new video, and welcome to something possibly quite interesting, I think, for a lot of people, and also something that is really interesting for me to see, and I thought I'd take you along for this mini tour. Let's go. Where I want to take you eventually is the building just behind the trees right here, and this is a middle school or a high school here in Moscow. I'm in the area called Novoperedelkino in the southwest of Moscow. Thankfully for me, it's actually not far from where I live. I'm only about 20 minutes away. And they've got an open school day today where parents, children, or anybody from the general public can come and take a tour of the local school. Now, this school is rather interesting because it's recently been remodeled, and they've got a very big program throughout all of Russia to remodel and improve the school system like they've got everywhere in the world. This is not unique, I don't think, to Russia. It happens everywhere. The school I'm at, if you're interested, is school number 1596. Now in Russia, most schools, or all schools I believe, are assigned a number. Quite as simple as that. And then generally there's an address underneath, and that's where you are. And they do that also for a lot of the hospitals as well. And I'm actually starting the video off out here in the playground, or school grounds. So this is a middle school, so it is children that are after primary school, and then of course at the end of high school you then go on to university or to whatever you choose to do. And what a nice playground it is. They've got the soft rubber flooring, the running track right here. They've also got football pitch, basketball. So where we are here in Novoperedelkino, so this is a very old suburb of Moscow, and you can see from the apartments around, there isn't any modern, brand new things. And the way they build a lot of the districts and micro districts in Russia, and this goes across the entire country, is generally they'll build the housing, like you see the apartments right here, and then part of that, they'll also build the infrastructure around it. Now with the new areas that are getting built, it's very normal or very typical that they'll build a school, they'll build shops, they'll build the local administration. Actually, in this area, the building that you can see behind the jungle gym is actually a hospital, or in Russia they like to call them polyclinics. There is also volleyball here as well. I'm just walking around this for the first time. Now, I am filming this a little bit out of sequence. I will always be very honest the way I make things, and I'm not really doing any YouTube magic. The sun is actually out right now, and around about 15 minutes ago, it was bucketing down with rain. But now it's absolutely beautiful. So the actual school itself, which is here on the left-hand side, is where I'm going to take you for a walk around. From here, actually, I'm not sure where the entrance is. How is that? I've just turned up, and I will say, though, the grounds of the school are very nice. And I think that's very normal even at the local school where I live. I've actually visited my local school a number of times, and I've done some meet and greet with the kids who, particularly the English class, want to meet native English speaking people. This is the actual street address on the side of the building, which I think is standard across all of Russia. So if you want to know where I am, I will put the information in the description of the video. As you can probably see the clouds off in the distance. That's what caused the crazy rain just 10 or 15 minutes ago. And now it's kind of gone all beautiful and sunny again. I just want to let everybody know ahead of time a few things. So the video might be long, and I will apologize always for that. If you are a long-time follower of the channel, you know I like to do longer videos, and that's very typical of the content that I make. And most things I do is just me turning up, turning on the camera and filming. And I generally don't do any research about the places or the things that I show. And I like to just come and show what I'm seeing. Now for this thing today, now it's actually currently the summer holidays. The kids go back to school on the 1st of September. So depending on when you're watching this, maybe 2 years later or at the same time of me posting the video, I think roughly about a week or so, the kids go back to school and they're just finishing up the summer holidays. And this school was actually under renovation. And on the 1st of September, it'll open for the first day as a new school or an old school. This originally opened in 1988, and throughout all of Russia, of course, there is thousands of schools, and I guess the education department of Moscow is holding these open days across all of Moscow. You could choose from about 50 schools to come and visit, and this was the closest one to where I live. They don't have one for my local area, so it is what it is. This is not too far. It was actually about 15 minutes on the bus to get here, I think, roughly. So actually, part of going on the tour, that you will see a lot of other people as well. They've actually got allotted times. It takes 40 minutes for the guided tour, and it's hosted by the teachers of the school. And then they're showing the different classrooms, and then you can walk around the outside, just like I'm doing, a little bit in reverse. So if you do see other people in the video, so there is actually guides, and they're actually teachers at the school. And the people that you're seeing mostly, or you will see, are mostly parents and students of the school currently, or past parents and students, or new people that have moved to the area who potentially want to come to this school. Because quite normally people have their kids go to school close to where they live, and not necessarily you're going to put them in a school half an hour or an hour away when there is more than enough schools in Russia for you to go to the local school. So yeah, I hope it's an interesting video, and let me slowly head on inside. I think anywhere in the world this will be quite normal. So the actual school itself is gated. So when the kids come in, they come in through one of the different gates around the perimeter of the building. And there is actually a sign here, no pets and no smoking, which I think is very normal. And there is also cameras in use, which is very normal. Now, when the kids will come to school, they've actually got a swipe card that they tap on the gate to open it. Very simple. I think that's very normal. And if you want to know how you get out, you tap it on the other side to leave. And at the time of me coming here, of course, the gates are open because it's a public open day, and it's also a non-school day as well. So this is the surrounds of the building. Most schools are built very much the same, and the government just replicate this over and over. They've done it very successfully with housing, schools, hospitals, administration buildings. I think there's no real need to change things. And you come in then to the main entrance. So the kids all have to come in the front way into the school. and through this main entrance. Because it's an open day, they've got a little bit of music playing. They've also got some bows on the school. And then there's some speakers. So what's really interesting, and I've seen this at my local school in Prelivka. So the school does have a school assembly on Mondays of every week. And then all of the students would actually assemble out here. I think the same as every school in the world. Even in Australia we have assemblies. And then they would actually have the flag that would be raised there. And they'll play the national anthem of Russia on every Monday of a school week. So the actual tour will take us to some of the different classrooms, and they've actually got an organized tour that you're going on, or I'm going to go on with you, to show certain areas of the school. Most of the classrooms that we won't show, or I don't show, are replicated on the different levels. And this school has a capacity of 900 students. If you're interested in how many people attend this school. And this is school number 1596. So if you do want to look it up on the map, I'm not sure if they've got any kind of social media. Normally they've got generally a Telegram channel or a website. So we'll put that in the description of the video. Like I said before, I am filming this a little bit out of sequence. So I did do some things earlier and I will do some things after, but it will be all in order once you're watching it now, so it will make sense. So it looks a little bit in one area than another. One window it's raining, one window it's sunny, is because of the way that I'm filming it. Coming inside the entrance, I think this will be the same all around the world, how they look. I think in the comments it'll be interesting to read people's feedback and to let me know how this school might differ from somewhere else in the world beyond Russia. And all the kids have to come through this main entrance or lobby to enter the classrooms and the main building. So there is actually the security point right here. So the whole building and then the whole surrounds have cameras, and in case anything was to happen. Now this board wouldn't be here. So again, today they've got guided tours of the whole school, so they've just got it closed off temporarily. However, for the kids then to go in to the main building, they'd have swipe cards, and it allows them then entrance into the building. So then it goes back then to the security, so they know who's in the school or who's not in the school. And I don't ever remember this in my high school in Australia, but maybe it's a new thing. So just let me know if this is something that's in your local school. For today, they've got the desk over here for everybody to meet for the tours. I've actually got my ticket right here, so you had to register for the event. That's very normal in Russia. They just want to get a count of how many people want to come to the tours and how many people will come for the duration of this event. Of course, there is a lot of schools that people can choose to come to, but I've come to one as close as possible to where I live, and we can get ourselves a magazine and learn about the Russian school system. And then somewhere over here will be our tour guide. I wonder now how this might differ in Russia to schools around the world. This is the cloakroom. So basically, of course, in winter time, the kids will be wearing heavy jackets, scarves, mittens, and things like that. And this is a place they can come and hang their stuff. They can also have different shoes. Most schools, the kids will actually have shoes for in the school and outside the school. I know that's a bit hard to comprehend. So they can put all their stuff right here. No worries at all. I know in Australia we don't have cloakrooms. We generally put our things in our lockers. So is this different to your school? Off we go on the tour. Now, the way I'm filming it is a little bit awkward because I'm very polite to all of the people who are on the tours because, of course, parents and children. But this is an open day, so it's completely allowed to walk around and shoot and film. Now, the one thing, of course, bathrooms. So they've got bathrooms for special needs, and then boys and girls bathrooms. Hopefully I can show one of those a little bit further on in the tour. So let's keep going. Walking through the halls of the school. Now there is quite a few people on the different tours as I'm walking around, so it's a little bit difficult to be realistic with making the video. This is one of the maths classes. So outside, the room number, mathematics. And then we're going to come into one of the rooms that is for dancing, for exercise, aerobics. Of course, the mirror right here. And very nice wooden floors. Perhaps everybody doesn't want to see me. And actually, while I'm on the tour, there's also groups ahead and behind me, so unfortunately, I have to catch some people in the video. We'll keep on walking. And then coming in to the next hallway. So before class starts, kids have got somewhere to hang out and relax. And then have a look at how modern schools have become. They've got the lockers right here with the pin codes, which is pretty straightforward. You can put your stuff in here before and after class. Very neat. So all of the classrooms are all numbered, of course. Tables and chairs. Okay, so I think this is the mathematics wing, looking at all the different names on the doors. Have a look. The lockers, when I was in high school, they were rusty, they were old. You always got the bottom one and you had to bend over every time. But much more modern and interesting. Coming inside one of the other rooms. This is considered the technology class. Screens back there, so the teacher would probably have explanations of what to do, so they can do things like woodwork and metalwork in here. Very nice. All the tool storage below. How cool is this? Even all the tables have got lights underneath, stools. Of course, traveling with Russell has to see a little bit of everything. We can even see the bathrooms and central heating inside, toilets. Very, very nice, very comfortable. This might be an interesting classroom now. The way it translates may be a little bit different, but the fundamentals of safety, common safety. Now, the way I'd look at it is, it's about health education, about things like CPR and first aid, and teaching the kids about simple safety, and however that translates. Also, all the classrooms are on wheels, so they can be moved around. They can adapt it to how they like into groups, and really up to the teacher how they do that. It's really interesting as you walk around, and then now we're up here on the second level. So different classrooms and different areas of the school. Another breakout area, table tennis. And I think very popular throughout Russia. Get a nice view of the common area in the middle where they've got the school assemblies. This area here, you can see the seats and benches. So the school has got full central heating. Of course, in winter, it's a necessity. And then there's a room off the side here where they can have one of the school nurses as well. Just going back a couple of clips ago, I showed the boys' toilets. There is actually boys and girls' toilets, and they're at either end of the hallways. So I don't want to feel like I just showed one and not the other. We are here on a non-school day. Actually, the 1st of September, the kids go back to school across all of the Russian Federation. And this is an open day that I've had a chance to come to. This is actually about 20 minutes from my house, so reasonably close to where I live, which is also nice. This is really fascinating walking around, and it's really a little bit of a peek into the Russian school system. And this is one of the biology classrooms, microscopes right there, and then even right here on the desk, some of the different equipment. Also big screens. Got to have the skeleton, that's a must. How nice are these classrooms? So the biology classes are broken up into different types. So this is actually the theoretical biology class. So more of a traditional classroom, tables and chairs, and then again the screens. Where is the board and the chalk gone? It seems to have disappeared, I think, in 2025. This particular classroom is still undergoing a little bit of renovation and remodeling, but this is actually the cooking class. So over here, where all the kids gather, and then actually they're still installing some of the fridges and ovens and things like that. It's all along this back wall. This actually is a home economics class. I think that's the best way to describe it. They also do sewing in here, and you can learn practical skills. Cooking though, I used to love cooking class. This middle area between the classes is a media room or a break room. So in between classes, the kids would come and stay here if they don't want to be outside. Obviously in winter, there's a need to have spaces indoors. So of course you've got the central heating, triple glazed windows. So you've got a lot of excuses to be nice and warm. Now I'm walking in between two different groups here. So if I just pass through right here and be super polite with everybody. So there is actually some organized groups on a tour, which is I'm actually doing, but it's a little bit in between two groups. But these nice areas to sit down and relax. We've even got sockets right there. How nice. Of course, it's coming to the end of summer now, so we won't have this sun beaming in the windows. Also part of this media area here on the right-hand side is a area where the kids can take out books, and it's basically a mini library. It's not fully set up yet, but I think we all get the drift. One more of the classrooms as I'm walking around. So all the rooms are numbered and they've all got the names of the particular thing you're learning. This is one of the IT classrooms. Of course, all the computers are set up and the main monitor there as well. Air conditioning in all the classrooms. Now this is summer right now, but it's still not exactly hot in here anyway. But really nice. All the different computers. There is some smaller classrooms here, and this actually is the language classrooms. Now, of course, they all start to look quite similar as you go room to room. These are a little bit smaller, and there is actually a partition, so it could be opened up as a larger classroom. But the idea with language classes is it's a little bit more focus on smaller groups, and they're learning German, French, and basically not Russian, so international languages. If you're interested, where the teachers get to have their break room right here. So there, of course, have cupboards they can put all their stuff. A little bit comfier chairs than the kids, of course. These nice, kind of more computer desk chairs. Fridge right there. And part of the groups, obviously the kids, when they hear that this is the teacher's room, they're super excited to come in here. Right across the way there is geography class. Of course, all the globes are right there. And then all of the teaching aids at the back. Very, very nice. I'm a little bit overwhelmed by being able to come and see the schools like this. Let's walk in and see the cafeteria and where the kids get to have breakfast or lunch. So of course, the standard thing to wash their hands before they go inside. So this is really quite interesting to see a little bit behind the scenes. Actually, over here on the left is where you put your tray and your cutlery when you're finished. There's the drop-off point right there, and then the pot wash. Now this is all completely open, so I'm not showing you things that you can't really see. And then over here, if you're bringing food from home, you would have an option of being able to microwave it if you want to, and warm it up. And then the cafeteria line right here, so the kitchen in the back. And then if you want to, you can also purchase food. Now it does depend on the different kids that come to this school, whether or not the meals are provided, so it's a breakfast or a lunch, or if you want to purchase something extra, you can. So things like juices and drinks, pastries, and then this is where the kids can come and sit. Now, depending on the different classes and the different times of the classes, they don't have the whole school taking lunch at the same time. It's split over the course of a few hours over lunch. And you're not having that traditional crowd of people coming in here at the same time. Because of the amount of different classes, they're able to split it up into different time allotments. So I hope you find the tour interesting. As I walk around, I'm going to show what I can show. Now, being that the school has recently been remodeled, some areas and some parts aren't finished, and they've still got about a week to do the last touches, and then the kids will be here on the 1st of September. One last look at the entrance right here. In Australia, we called this the quadrangle, or the quad, at my high school. I really want to compare it to there because that's my last memory of school in Australia. I completed high school and then I went on to work in retail, and that's why there are so many supermarket videos on the channel. As I head on out and try to find the gate that I came in. Of course, it wasn't a full tour of every room of the school, and the guides let you know that as you're walking around. They're giving you an overview of the school, and quite a lot of the classrooms are duplicated and replicated on the different floors because of the amount of kids in each age, in each year of the school. So, I'm not able to show you every part of the school, but I think it gives you a great insight into a Russian middle school, or what I would consider a Russian high school anyway. As I head on out of school 1596, the music's still playing in the background. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Actually, a friend here in Moscow told me about this program where you could register and come on some school tours. So it was really interesting. It's just a matter of logging into the website, choosing the school you wanted to come to. There was a lot to choose from, but for me, I just came to the one that's nearest to where I live. I do want to say a big thank you to some of the teachers there. who were hosting the guided tours. They're doing this about a week and a half before school starts. And of course, they're very proud of their school now that it's been under the renovation program here. Of course, I'm showing you the video without students in the classes. It's not very easy to make videos, and I do get it in the comments a lot for me to go to universities, hospitals, schools, and make content. And it's not as simple as that. I think it would be the same anywhere in the world for me to call a local school and ask, can I come and make a video? It wouldn't happen, and the same here in Russia. So to come to these open days, it's a little bit of a bonus. Of course, it would be nice to see the kids sitting in the classrooms and all that sort of stuff, but to do the walk around when the school is empty. Of course, there was people you saw in the tour, and I was sort of in between two different groups just to make it easier. Really, really interesting. And I have been to my local school a number of times and met the kids that do the English curriculum there. And hopefully I can go back and do it again. So if you're in Russia and you've got a school, give me a call and I'd be happy. The only payment is I want lunch in the canteen, that's all. Because I know that the ladies that work in the kitchens make very nice soups, and they make the food with love. You know, it's not like it's from a supermarket or anything like that. The ladies that run the canteens, they really love what they do, and I think it shows in the teachers here as well. You know, they're very passionate and very happy to be able to show the school to people. So thanks. Let me know how this school compares to maybe the school you went to, or the school maybe your kids are going to, because it might be interesting just to show you a difference. The one thing I did ask from the lady doing the lessons was about, you know, if I went to another city in Russia, and the school would be exactly the same. If I go 4,000 kilometers from here and went on the tour, okay, it would be another city, different weather. However, there is a lot of similarities in the school system in Russia, and they want to keep a standard of schools, standard of teaching, standard of curriculum. So I think coming to the one nearest to where I live versus going across the other side of the country doesn't make a difference. So what do you think? How is that school similar to your school? Thumbs up if you like the video. If you'd like to follow me on Telegram, there is a link right here coming up. And then if you want to watch another video on the channel, I'll try and find something interesting you can watch. You can keep traveling with Russell. Okay, everybody, I'm off on another adventure. Bye.